Hello and welcome to another Luminar demo. On this episode I'm going to be looking at Luminar 4's Portrait Enhancement feature, which is new to this version. So let's dive right in, and over here on the right hand side we've got some information about the photograph that I've already preloaded. So it's a raw file from a Canon 500D, ISO 400, f8 1/60th of a second. So there's been no prior editing to this shot at all. Over here on the right hand side we go to the edit dialog, and we're already in the portrait mode, which is another one of the options that you get over here on the right. And on this video we're just going to particularly be looking at the portrait enhancer options, which if you click on there you will then be presented with a series of sliders that we're going to use. So let's start off at the top and the face light option. Now the shot here is fairly well lit already with the studio conditions that we had on the day, but I'll just add a little bit more in here so that you'll be able to see what that is doing. So we've slid the slider, it's not easy to say, slid the slider to around 55 there, and if we look at the before and after you can see that it's just given us a little bit more face light, and I think we'll just back that off a little bit because it's not bad as it is from the original shot. We don't really need that too much. Next one down is red eye removal, and as you can see she doesn't have any red eye because it was done with studio lighting and they were slightly offset. And the next one below that is eye whitening. So this really should just be concerned with the area around the pupil, and if we give that a little bit of a boost, it's gonna do a little bit. We're going a little bit more, make it a little bit more exaggerated. You can sort of see that those eye areas are getting whitened if I move that around. So we'll keep it around there. Now the one below that is called eye enhancer. So let's have a little look at that. We'll pull that across, and again we turn these things off. We can see the sort of before and after. That's probably a little bit too much on the eyes. She's got nice blue eyes, bluey grey eyes, but I think that possibly makes it a little bit too much, and we could even just come down a slight bit on the whitening as well. So if we zoom out and have a look at the natural shot, yeah, that doesn't look too bad. And the one below that is dark circles removal. So she's not too bad with dark circles under her eyes. Let's see whether that reduces anything. It does a little bit there in this area. We can see if we slide that back and forward, that's bringing that in and out. It's not too bad as it is from camera, so I think we'll just leave that there. Now this lady's got a very attractive face already and is pretty well in proportion, but there's an option on the next slider to slim the face. So this will pull in a little bit of the hair as well, I've noticed, and it is not 100% face recognition that I can see on the portraits that I've edited. So if I just show you what I mean and pull that in, you'll see that the hair will move as well in response to that. So we can just give a slight bit more definition with the face, with the slim face slider, and she looks good still. It's not really something we need to play with too much, but it just gives you an example of if we go extreme and back to sort of normal, we'll go for something around about 1/3, and that will do, I think, there for that. So the next one along is enlarge eyes. So if we have a little look at the slider and have a look at her eyes as we do it, we'll pull the slider across, and you can see I'll over exaggerate that her eyes, they do enlarge. So that doesn't look very natural at all, and you wouldn't really probably go so far as 100% on that, but she's pretty well in proportion. I might just make her eyes a tiny little bit bigger, again around about 1/3, and it looks reasonably good. Again, let's have a look at the before and after. So I might just take the eye enhancer down. I think that's probably too much. Looking at the before and after, we can also put this slider on as well and sort of look 50-50 as to what she's going to look like at the end result. Okay, so the next one along is eyebrow improve. Now this basically just darkens the eyebrows. So if I slide that along, it just puts a little bit more definition here in her eyebrows. And let's come back out a little bit, wait for it to sharpen back up. And you'll see that it just kind of thickens the colour just in that area. But again, you know, her makeup's fine. She doesn't really need an awful lot of adjustment on this. The next one along is lip saturation. So again, it's just going to localize some color and detail, and we use this in combination with the lips redness because she's got a little bit of makeup on. So if we just slide that along, it's detected. Just give it a second to process. It's just taken a second to work out where the lips are, and we can pull that along and we can oversaturate it, reduce it a little bit, kind of give it a little bit more of a slightly coloured feel. And again, let's have a little look at the before and after. I think the eyes are possibly too big, so we'll come back with the eyes a little bit. And maybe the enhancer as well, I think. It could be that the whitening is pulling it to one side. It's a little bit light on the eyes, but that's okay. The slider below is lips darkening, so let's have a little look what that's going to do for us. Let's take the before and after off. Just takes a second to render sometimes. And again, it's kind of like the saturation that's coming in on the slider above. The final one is teeth whitening. Obviously she hasn't got her mouth open, so we can't do that, but again, very similar to the eye whitening tool, where it will just bring forward a little bit more of the whites and make her look a little bit more elegant than she already is. And if we just have a look at this before and after, we'll zoom in a little bit there. So before and after. And what we'll do is we'll have a quick look at the skin enhancer as well, because this basically will remove some blemishes if you click the skin detect removal tool. Now if we toggle that on and off for a sec, it just takes a second to render. I can't see a massive amount of stuff that it's done, which is a compliment to the young lady that, you know, she has got great skin already. We'll just take that along a little bit and then we'll turn that on and off. Yeah, so you can see a little bit more sharpness without the enhancer on. And if we put the enhancer back on, it kind of gives it ever so slightly soft focus in her face. So I'm pretty happy with that. There's the before, there's the after. And I think that would make an absolutely beautiful portrait if you are looking for a professional finish and you are a studio photographer, something like that. Yeah, so there we have it, guys. That is the portrait enhancement mode in LUMINAR 4. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.